dear friends. Today we are going to start with the chapter quadratic equations for class 10. In the very beginning, we will be starting with the standard form of quadratic equation and then presenting the word problems in the form of quadratic equation and then eventually solving them. So let's start with standard form of a quadratic equation. Standard form of a quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 where a is not equal to 0. So I have written an equation in degree 2. When I say degree 2, it means the variable having the power 2 must be present, and for that reason I have written down a is not equal to 0, because if a is equal to 0, obviously this whole term vanishes. 0 into x square will be 0, and if this term vanishes, we will be left with this part only, bx plus c is equal to 0, which is not a quadratic but a linear equation. So in order to have a quadratic equation, that is an equation with degree 2, we must have a term containing degree 2. The variable may be x, may be y, may be t, depending upon the question. So right in the beginning, we will be starting with the questions, how to frame the questions given in the form of quadratic equations. My question says, represent the following situation mathematically. John and Jivanti together have 45 marbles. When I read this much, I do have this information. There are two friends, John and Jivanti, and they together have 45 marbles. It means if I suppose let the number of marbles with John is equal to x, so I have the direct idea of number of marbles with Jivanti will be 45 minus x, because they together have 45 marbles. So if one of them is having x marbles, other is going to have 45 minus x marbles. Let's read it further. Both of them lost 5 marbles each. So after losing 5 marbles, number of marbles with John. If John was already having x marbles and he has lost 5 marbles, it means now he is having x minus 5 marbles. And number of marbles with Jivanti was already 45 minus x. He has also lost 5 marbles, so I have to subtract that 5. That is 45 minus 5 gives you 40 minus x as such. I read it further. And the product of the number of marbles they now have is 124. So according to question, the product of these two numbers, x minus 5 and 40 minus x, when they are having their product, it is going to be equal to 124. So let me simplify this. 40x minus x into x, x square, minus 5 into 40, that is 200, minus plus 5x is equal to 124. As you all know, we always write down the equation with the highest variable, starting with the highest variable. So I am going to start it with minus x square minus this 200 plus 5x plus 40x together minus 124 also on this side. So when I simplify it, it is 5 plus 40, 45x. I will be writing it here. Minus 200 minus 124 gives me minus 324. But since we do not start our equation anytime with the negative ones, so changing the signs throughout. When I change the signs throughout, it means it becomes x square. Negative x square was there, I am going to change the sign throughout with each term. And on RHS, I am already having 0. So negative of 0 again remains a 0. So this is the final presentation of the given word problem in a mathematical form. So which has resulted in the form of ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So it is a quadratic equation. More questions of the same kind. I have taken question number 2 from exercise 4.1. It again says represent the following situations in the form of quadratic equations. When we say represent, that is we need to change this, we need to convert this word problem into mathematical situations, and may not we are going to solve it because we have not been asked actually the solutions. So let's start the reading the question. the area of a rectangular plot. So first of all, I'm going to give a heading, rectangular plot. I once again read it. The area of a rectangular plot is 528 square meters. Okay, fine. The length of the plot in meters is 1 more than twice its breadth. This line will give me my supposition. Let breadth is equal to x meters. This implies length is equal to, I again read it, length is means is equal to 1 more than, I have to add 1 more than twice its breadth, twice, 2 times the breadth. This whole is the length in meters. So according to question, I have been given the area as 528 square meters. But already we know area of a rectangular plot is length into breadth. So let's put up the values. 2x plus 1 into x is equal to 528. When I multiply it, I get 2x into x becomes x square plus 1 into x. X is equal to 528. We will shift the constant on LHS only so that my equation is of the form ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. That is, it's in the form of a standard quadratic equation. That's the answer. Let us take one more question of the same type to represent the following situation in the form of a quadratic equation. We have to just represent this, okay? We are not going to solve it as asked in the question. So let me read the question. I've taken second question, second part from exercise 4.1. The product of two consecutive positive integers is 306. So I'll stress on these two words, consecutive and positive. And it has to be an integer. So let one positive integer is equal to x. So its consecutive positive integer has to be x plus 1, because consecutive means they should be consecutive, they should be just written side by side, they should be adjacent numbers. And positive, if I have taken x positive, so x plus 1 is definitely going to be a positive integer. So our supposition should be very much correct. First of all, you have to take care of this thing, and then again I read the question. The product of these two positive integers which we have taken is 306. So product, I'm going to multiply them and equate it to the given product 306. Let's multiply x into x, x plus x into 1, x is equal to 306. Transposing the constant on LHS, I get this equation as the answer. So I have represented the given situation mathematically in the form of a quadratic equation. Right in the beginning of chapter, we will be getting two types of questions. One, representing the given situations mathematically into the form of quadratic equations, that we have done. And the second form would be check whether the following are quadratic equations or not. So we will be given some equations. We have to simplify them and ultimately check if they can be written in the standard form of a quadratic equation. Ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Yes, it is a quadratic equation. If they can't be, then we say no, it is not a quadratic equation. So let's start checking. I've taken first question, first part. It says x plus 1 whole square is equal to 2 times x minus 3. Let me simplify the given equation to check it out. Here I'll be using a plus b whole square, which is given as a square plus b square plus 2ab. So on expansion, it becomes like this. RHS simple product. Transposing the terms on LHS. 2x was positive on RHS, so it becomes negative in LHS and it cancels out. 6 was negative on RHS, and when I transposed it to left hand side, it becomes positive. It's a simple rule, as you all know. X square as such plus 1 plus 6, 7 is equal to 0. This can be written as x square plus 0 into x plus 7 is equal to 0. Why I have written down this? Because I want to present this equation into the form of a standard quadratic equation. And yes, it can be written in this form, because when I simplify, 0 into x becomes 0. So the equation again is the same, x square plus 7 is equal to 0. So yes, this given equation is a quadratic equation. Let's simplify second part. It says x square minus 2x is equal to minus 2 into 3 minus x. When we simplify this, it is something like this. I'm going to transpose all the terms on LHS. So that will have to change the signs throughout. And here minus 2x, they are not going to cancel down. So I have to simplify. Minus 2x becomes minus 4x. When I have written down this equation, it is directly in the form of a quadratic equation. Yes, it is a quadratic equation. You can give a reason, as it can be expressed in the form of ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, where a is not equal to 0. You can give the reason if you get the same question in 2 marks, and if you get in 1 marks, yes would be enough by solving this. Let's continue doing some more questions of the same type where we have to check the equations are quadratic or not. So I've taken first question, third part. Let's simplify the given equation. Be very careful when you write down the equation, when you note down the equation from the question. So I'm going to simplify it. X into x, x square plus x minus 2x minus 2. This is LHS. RHS. One term will be, each and every term will be multiplied, and here I get x square plus 3x minus x minus 3. I want to shift, but first of all let me simplify. We will be shifting the terms when they are in the simple order. So I will transpose the terms now on LHS. It simply says, x square minus x square cancelled out, minus x minus 2x minus 3x minus 2 plus 3 gives me 1. Changing the signs throughout, I get this equation 3x minus 1 equal to 0, which cannot be written in the form of ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Since it can't be written in this form, because here the coefficient of x square is 0, so the term present is not there. The term containing x square is not present. So we will simply say no, this is not a quadratic equation. Thank you. So if you have liked my video, please like it and share it with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel Ritu Garg Maths Classes. Thank you for watching once again.